Hi, everyone. Welcome to our first KETUS webinar. So the theme of our webinar for today is junior vs middle developers. And just to make sure that we're all on the same page, can you please write a plus in the chat if you can hear and see me well? Okay, perfect. It seems like everyone can hear and see well. So let's start. I'll introduce myself. So my name is Kate, and I'm a key account manager at KETUS. I've worked in IT for 5 years, and before that, I completed my studies at the University College London. So just to run through, for today's webinar, I will briefly introduce KETUS, and then we will actually get straight to the webinar topic. And just a small note on webinar etiquette, we really encourage active participation, so please ask questions in the chat. And beware that we might not be able to answer them immediately as we're speaking, but we will, of course, follow up in the middle or in the end. So let me tell you a little bit about KETUS, as this is our first webinar. So what do? At KETUS, we focus only on IT training. So we create advanced programs for experienced specialists, which we launch according to market demands. So our clients are modern tech-savvy companies who want to train and upskill their employees, whether they're junior developers, middle-level developers, or lead positions. So our mission is to develop talent to drive growth and innovation. So we believe in bringing value to all the stakeholders involved in training. So it's the employees, the enterprises, and of course the instructors. Our focus is to make sure everyone benefits from the experience. And we have a wide range of courses. We cover programming, architecture, analytics, management, and DevOps. So just to kind of get an idea of the audience, if anyone has heard about KETUS, please write the number 2 in the chat and write a number 3 if this webinar is totally new to you. Okay, so now it's time to introduce our speaker. So our speaker is, for today, is Alexander, who's an engineering manager at Avito. So I'll pass on to Alexander.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. So do you hear me clear and see my camera and see the screen? Everything is fine? Great. So let's start. Thank you for the intro, Kate. Okay, a few words about me. I'm an engineering manager and the biggest classified in the world. It's Avito company. So basically, I'm working more than 14 years in IT and more than 9 years as an IT manager. So that's pretty much it about my person. That's not so interesting, I would say. But if you have any questions regarding this webinar, regarding our courses and anything else connected to the team leader role, feel free and don't hesitate to contact me. You can see my email on the screen. It's av.bragin@gmail.com. So you can contact me there and ask me any questions regarding our course, webinar, and today's theme. So regarding the theme, let's go to it. Kate, may you show the next slide? And today we are talking about junior developers, middle developers, and the choice between them. Should we hire more skilled engineers, or maybe should we grow up with a more junior team, and we will try to find out the right solution. But beforehand, we need to define who is the junior and who is the middle. Let's take a look there. So maybe you have any thoughts about this. So who is junior and who is middle? How to separate these roles? How to define, let's say, on the interview that this guy or girl is junior developer, and this one is middle? Maybe you have any idea. Feel free to write it down to the chat, and I will see it. So basically, on our webinars at OTAS, our trainers, including me, of course, are not speaking heads. So we are tending to be interactive. So don't hesitate to participate. Don't be so shy. Working stuff. So, okay, working stuff is more about middle, I would say. But let's try to define. Let's go further. So, which parameters will describe the middle developer? So we'll see it on the next slide. So experience less than 1 year. Yeah, that's mostly about junior developers. So, okay, yeah, middle developer is experienced engineer and experienced, first of all, in implementing with standards and principles. Because when you hire a junior developer, he or she, this engineer, will face a lot of problem connected to the quality of the code in the product. And this quality is really important to further evolution of your product. So you need to support it, you need to grow up, and with bad code base, the grow will be really hard to you, so to your team. Another option here for middle developer, next slide, please, is that middle developer can create independent part of your system. So junior developer can go to the code, see some constructions, and add there some parts of function, method, class, or something like this. And middle developer can go and implement some module, some microservice, depends on your architecture, some new server, if we are talking about DevOps engineers and so on. Also, middle developer, next slide, please, knows how to choose a trade-off. This is an important part, because solution of some task right up to the description is not really good way, because everything in your architecture is a trade-off. And junior developers sometimes really work aligning with books that they read and lections that they heard about, and trying to find out the perfect solution. But everything is a trade-off, and good middle developer should know how to find out this trade-off and understand this trade-off, what's in it. Also, next slide, please. Of course, that's all about unit tests and automations, because without these parameters in your system, you cannot grow up, because systems are too complicated, too complex. And if you want to optimize your solution, your application, the deployment, and so on, you will face up a lot of problems, a lot of errors, because you cannot check the quality of your product that you are rolling up. Also, this middle developer will be fine with critics, and this engineer will work on it, because working with junior developers who created this part of code for, I don't know, 1 or 2 weeks and put a lot of effort into this part of code, when this engineer faced some critics, and maybe even as constructive critics, of course, but it's too hard to this engineer to understand that this critics is not about humiliation or, I don't know, pain for this engineer. No, it's a question about the quality growth, the evolution. And middle developer will understand that he or she should find the critics, and it's a really important part. And also, of course, I would say the last but not least parameter is that middle developer is predictable. So if you see the estimation from middle developer, from good middle developer, you can see that you can predict it. So within this time-bounded estimation, you will have this part of solution described in the task. So this is the, I would say, one of the main parts of middle developer characteristics. But of course, we can say that middle developer is the basis of your team workforce. So as Nikita mentioned in the chat, so it's a working staff. Your team will work on a force of middle developers, and they will provide a lot of solutions. In the other hand, so shouldn't we hire junior developers at all? Shouldn't we work with them? Shouldn't they grow up? So we need to think about that. No one born as was born as a middle developer. We all started from a junior position. Me, a lot of my colleagues, no one started right from middle or senior or CTO position. No. And when we are talking about the junior developer position, we need to think that the common mistake here is that managers often really confused between junior and a trainee position. So let's start with the trainee position. Who is the trainee? So trainee is not a real working unit. It's an intern. You need to put a lot of effort to control this future engineer, to provide knowledge, to provide education, to provide coaching. So you need to support it. Of course, trainee should have a mentor, and this future engineer will work in cooperation, and this future engineer should improve him or herself. So for example, in Avito, when we are working with trainee, we have a limit of 1 year. So if we are starting to work with a trainee, we are expecting that in 1 year, this trainee will become a junior developer, not middle, of course, but junior. And if trainee within a year, and year is quite a big term, if trainee within a year won't be a junior developer, so we'll have a lot of questions. Why? So what's wrong? What's going wrong? Why this trainee is not improving? And maybe we choose wrong mentor, wrong program, wrong support, or maybe we just choose wrong employee. But when our trainee becomes junior, so we need to define it. Junior knows technology fundamentals after all. So nevertheless, if we are hiring trainee or junior, so junior should know technology fundamentals. So It means that junior developer doesn't go every single time, every single constructions that this engineer writes in a code goes to the documentation. So some fundamentals is in his or her head, and this is expecting here. Also, junior developer can work independently on simple tasks. So if I'm asking for a junior developer to create some small changes, I don't need to control every single line of code. And I'm expecting that in some visible term, I will have an increment here. Also, junior developers still growing, reading, building bicycles. So that's normal, because junior developers should train on principles, train on approaches. And if I hear from junior developers that, oh, I have not enough energy, not enough power to read some book, to try to build something by myself, so I will have questions here too. So I'm waiting that junior developer within one further year. Sorry, I will share my screen right now. Within 1 year, this junior developer will be a middle. So junior developers should not stay in this role, in this position for too long. Also, I'm ready that junior developer can be angry when faced some critics and some criticism. That's normal, but I need to work on his or her soft skills. Even from this position, we are waiting to for this engineer to have enough soft skills to work with feedback, to work with critics, and so on. Of course, junior still needs control. Not the same amount of control that you need to put on a trainee, but still you need to control what have been done, and is it expectable, is it faced required quality, and so on. And sometimes juniors are unpredictable. Sometimes they are too optimistic in their decisions. And when, as a manager, when you're working with junior developers, you need to put some more effort into estimation that you have from junior developer. So within this knowledge, within those definitions, we can say that junior developer is not a cheap engineering resource. If we have really hard-bounded budget on hiring, that's a bad idea to hire only junior developers and say, okay, within this budget, I will have, I don't know, 5 or 10 junior developers, and they will really produce a lot of increments on my product. No, that's a common mistake. Because given a complex problem, junior will stuck really. Within a simple problem, junior can create a complex solution without any control. That's a key idea here, that junior developer should have a control. Who will control our junior developer? It will be middle developer or even senior developer. Thus, we understand that within our team, if we want to hire junior developers, we need to have at least 1 or 2 middle developers to coach our junior. But why should we hire juniors? So is it really worth it? Well, here we have 2 opposite opinions. In one hand, we have opinion from Netflix. I think you heard about this. So if you don't get a puppy, you don't have to clean up its mess. And sometimes Netflix really didn't hire any junior developers. As far as I know, nowadays this opinion has some changes here, but still, in the other hand, we have an opinion from an author of JavaScript books, Reginald Braithwaite. He said that I only recruit senior developers. The trick is I recruit some of them earlier in their career. It means that he hired them really as a junior or middle developers and grow them up within his team, within his department. So pluses for junior, of course, that they are cheap. Junior developers market now is really overheated. And you can hire good junior developer within, I don't know, 1 or 2 weeks of active interviews. There are a lot of them, really. As I said, it's really fast hiring. And you will have internal growth. And this internal growth for this junior leads to loyalty. But we will talk about this within next slides. But basically, it leads to loyalty because this junior developer get an opportunity, wins an opportunity because, as I said before, there are a lot of juniors on the market. And if you hire this junior engineer, you put some trust here. And this trust goes to loyalty from junior side. Of course, this gradual growth leads to saving money because this junior developer won't be a middle developer within one moment. But after several months of work, the junior developer, who will be still junior developer at the moment, will provide more and more effect and more increments, became more and more predictable. So growth are not discrete. So it goes day by day. So, and in the other hand, if we know all the pros for junior developers, what most companies do. So we will hire juniors, phase 2, and on a phase 3, we'll have profit because we save a lot of money, bunch of money, and we don't need to do anything. So they will work on themselves. Nope. As I said before, you need to put a lot of investments, time investments, money investments, coaching investments on junior developers. As I said before, junior developer is not a cheap engineering resource. So if we do some methods, we will see that our junior developer will provide you not, so let's say that middle developer provides you within a sprint, a week, a month, depends, within that one time part. One part of work. Of course, junior developer will provide you not one part of work. He will provide you like half of this part, maybe. Also, as we said before, middle developer should invest some effort to grow up with this junior developer. And he will invest some, let's say, up to 30% of his time or her time to coach this junior developer. So even middle developer will provide you not one part of work, but 70% of work. And you can count it. We'll turn back to this mathematics a few slides further. But now I will pass the microphone to Kate right now. Kate, we can hear you. You're on mute.
Yeah. So I think as Alexander was just talking about how important growth is for developers, I think it's a good time to talk about us at KETUS, because that's exactly what we specialize in. So we provide live online courses for professionals. And if you look at the diagram here, what we do is help enterprises develop talent. So by increasing employee competences through assignments that directly mirror workplace tasks. So we don't just focus on theory, we focus on skills and knowledge that can be used directly in the workplace. So overall, we have more than 5 years of industry experience training professionals and upskilling their competences. We have over 15 live format courses in covering various disciplines in IT. We have over 35 expert instructors who are all currently working so that they teach skills that are directly applicable in the workplace. And we cover programming, architecture, DevOps, as well as IT management. And on top of that, we also make custom courses to suit client needs. And of course, what's also super important is we have a dynamic student community where people can interact and learn from each other. If we can go to the next slide. Yeah, so I will talk now a tiny bit about the 3 pillars that we think KETUS stands on. So we think it's content quality, methodology, and transparency. In terms of content quality, what makes us stand out from the rest is that our sharp focus. So we don't do courses in all sorts of subjects. We focus only on IT, which means that we can guarantee quality in every course that we choose to create. Likewise, what we think is super important is cutting edge content. So the IT industry is a really dynamic industry where knowledge needs to be constantly updated. And so there is no point teaching people skills that were relevant, let's say, a year ago. We have to constantly update our courses so that we're totally mirroring the demands of the market. Likewise, what's unique about us is our methodology. So we think that interaction is fundamental to successful learning. So all our classes are centered around questions from instructors, solving problems together, and we only do live classes. So of course you can watch a webinar if you miss it, but we think optimum learning comes from live webinars. Likewise, what's also key to the success of our programs is our tailored approach. So we assess knowledge and skill levels for every single student that takes our courses, which means that cohorts have similar abilities and students can learn from peer-to-peer discussion. And of course, lastly, what we can say about us is that for us, transparency is crucial. So we know that we offer quality content and quality learning. So if you read our reviews, you can see that learners often say that our courses are hardcore and that homework tasks take a lot of time. But we think that's exactly where real learning comes from. And likewise, control. So we think it's important for our clients to be able to see what they're paying for. So companies have easy tools to monitor engagement and progress of their employees. If we can go to the next slide. So basically, at KETUS, everything is designed to bring tangible results, both to the employees and to the enterprise in question. So what you get is interactive webinars, access to all the materials, and fresh, up-to-date knowledge that instructors bring from their daytime job. Then all this knowledge is applied in practice in the homeworks. Instructors give super detailed feedback that students can then incorporate in their next attempt or take into account for further homeworks. And lastly, what we have is community interaction that I mentioned before. Our instructors are really dedicated and they're always in contact with the students via Slack. Likewise, students often discuss questions that arise during lectures between themselves. And of course, all our courses have a final project, and the instructors give advice on that and support students as well. And just to touch a little bit about our instructors, as I said, all our instructors are currently employed in tech companies. And just in this slide, we have a slight overview of the different companies they're working in. We can go to the next slide. And as we've been in the market for a while, we have been a trusted solution for teams at various leading global organizations, as you can see here. And just to finalize, we have two potential offerings. So we have our open cohort courses that I just discussed. And we can also offer customized courses, which we adapt directly to the needs of each client. And you can tailor the topics, the duration, the content workload, and make sure that your teams get the upskilling necessary that's in-depth and specific to the field that you need right now for your work tasks. And for participating in this webinar, we have some special terms. So we're happy to offer a free consultation on growing your IT team, given to you by a KETUS expert. Likewise, if you buy a second course for your employee, it will be free. So please share your details in the chat or email us to arrange a time for the consultation, and we can move on further. So now let's get back to the content.
Yeah, thank you, Kate. And let's go to the real life of the engineering manager. So if we are working with junior developers, we can face several problems. So lack of experience leads to chaos in code. As I said before, you need to have engineers who will create and stick to guidelines and rules every time. So that's why you cannot hire only junior developers. You can start to work with them, but only if you have mentors who will create these guidelines, who will control the quality, who will provide the quality, because junior developer cannot create by him or herself some pipelines, deployment rules, quality checks, because these engineers doesn't know anything about it this yet. It's normal because for junior developer, because junior developer has not enough experience yet. So this is expectable, and you need to expect this. And juniors need to hear feedback. You need to provide the feedback in a growing way, because without feedback, junior will create working solution and decide that this is a good solution. That was in my experience when I was junior developer, and I worked alone in one company that was one of my first working places, and I created some solutions, and for me delivering of working solution was a victory. So it's working, I'm good. What else do you expect? But when I started to work with hire developers, with mentors, they showed me what can I face and what will I face, what problem can I face after several months or even weeks working with this code. Because when you're starting to work with growing up solutions, when your applications became bigger and bigger, you will face this problem. And there is no options to avoid these problems. And of course, juniors wants to grow up. If you are hiring junior thinking that, okay, I have only this budget and this amount of money for this full-time equivalent, for me, it's fine. But as we said before, junior should become a middle developer in 1 year. So after 1 year, you need to pay more salary to this employee. In the other hand, this junior developer will go to another company who will do this. And in this case, it means that you will spend 1 year learning yourself to grow up junior developers and teaching these junior developers for another company. So you will waste your money. You will waste your time. You need to be prepared for this. You need to prepare the budget, plan the budget to extend the salary for junior developer in 1 year. That shouldn't be a surprise. So the recipe for good junior growth contains 4 steps. First one is a mentor. Prepare a mentor, a buddy, so experienced developer who will control this junior developer, who will provide a feedback to him or her, and who will be responsible for the quality of the code provided by this junior developer. Of course, this developer will have a personal growth plan and grow up according to this plan. This is required. Without this plan, this junior developer will be lost. And will be lost and will be struggling to find out the next step for him or her. And of course, define deadlines and milestones. So without terms, without the expectations, without the image of the result, you will have a lot of issues with understanding of this growth. The junior will come to you every time and ask, so what should I do to grow up? Where can we check up here? And so on. So with plan, it will be much more easier here. And of course, agree on salary budget. You need to be prepared for growth. And you will avoid this problem. Of course, sometimes you don't need a junior developer. As I said before, do some methods. So you haven't got enough money to grow junior sometimes. And I would say that smaller companies don't need juniors at all. They can hire, for example, 1 or 2 middle developers and work with them instead of hiring 2 or 3, even more, 3 or 4 junior developers within this budget. But they won't provide you anything. Because as I said before, a middle will cost you X money and spend at least 30% of time for coaching. So an outcome, you will have only 0.7 amount of work that you will have. And junior will cost you half of X money and provides you 0.3, 0.5 effectiveness level, at least on the first half of the year of working in your company. So you will have approximately 0.4 outcome. So for 1.x money, you will have only 1.1 outcome within this setup. And you need to think about this really. Because this mathematics provides you an understanding. How do you spend your money, your budget on a team? So junior, we can go to the next slide. Thank you. Junior is an investment. With the right approach, you will have 2x outcome for approximately 2x money, because Junr will grow up, will become a middle developer, and as I said before, with loyalty, his or her salary growth won't be discrete. So that's normal. But it will work on a horizon of 6 to 12 months. You have bounded, limited budget, so think twice when you want to hire a junior developer. That's normal. But okay, how to get a middle developer? That's a simple. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Search. So simple rules of search here. First of all, extend your search platforms. Don't limit yourself by only one platform. Search everywhere. Really. LinkedIn, Indeed.com, I don't know, Xing.com, some social networks and so on. That's really normal to find developers there. And basically, when the engineer sees the vacancy, mostly he or she does not know anything about your company. So if you wanna Google, okay, and the vacancy represents your company. So check your vacancy. This vacancy should sell your company, should show what company works on, what benefits can you have if you will work on this company. Of course, be careful with HR outsourcing, because their work approaches often really leads to bad results. I'm not saying that all HR outsource is bad, but you need to check it twice, because they need is to provide you with a developer in a short time and get money for the hiring. They often they don't need to provide you quality. They need to provide you speed, and sometimes it's not good for you if you won't have a qualified developer. Okay, don't forget to check platforms, because sometimes HR can use programs like Tinder to find developers. No, that's not a good approach. And this is a bad story here. And be honest. So if you are expecting to hire a honest developer, you need to be honest in your vacancy description. So if you are hiring for some legacy project, do not lie that you have really cutting edge technologies, high load, and so on and so forth. Be honest, provide the honest information. And remember that your company is not Google. So if you have a mid-level company, do not create a bunch of interviews and so on, checks, because you will really waste your time and money. And if you have no experience in hiring, don't hesitate to use consultants. They will provide you their experience, and it will be cheaper, and you will try to find out the right description, the right interview approaches, and so on. And what if the mathematics doesn't add up? Don't forget about outsource and outstaff. So you don't need really every time to hire your own in-house development team. It's normal to outsource or outstaff some tasks, because then you don't need to support all the HR processes, all the internal hiring, firing, and support processes. So you will spend money there too. So that's pretty much it from my side, I think. So maybe you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me, or write minus in the chat if you don't have any questions. So let's check up. So thank you, Kate. The microphone is yours.
Yeah, so thank you again for participating in our webinar. And just to finish off, I wanted to remind you about our special terms for all the meeting participants. So as our thank you for joining us today, you get a free consultation on growing your IT team with one of our experts. And of course, each second course for your employee is free once you already paid for one course. So to benefit from this offer, please write your email in the chat or email us directly at partners@ketus.io to then get your free consultation. Yes, just a big thank you for participating. And please get in touch with us to talk about the ideal solution for your company's training needs.
So thanks a lot and have a nice evening.